Hey guys, welcome back to 8-Minute Rounds. This is the second time we're doing this, and this time we're doing it with live commentary, so I'm super excited. So the two people we have today are brown belts. This is Jad right here. Jad's one of my oldest training partners in the county. He has really excellent kinetic jiu-jitsu. He moves a lot. He's very dynamic and very snappy with his techniques. And one of the things that is really scary about him is he has excellent judo, not just gi, but also no gi. He'll just flip me if I'm not paying attention. He's also really good at making you move from his feet, so I'm expecting him to try to take the top position pretty early. That's what I'm looking for. And then over here, a little bit less handsome, but still devilishly handsome. This is Cameron. He's got the Lovecraftian Cthulhu shirt on, so he's going to be really hard to miss. Cameron's been doing jiu-jitsu for 8.5 years or so. He's had a really interesting kind of rise in his jiu-jitsu, like the best Kimura system I've ever experienced from anybody. That's black belts included. He's technically never tapped me before, but he did break my arm because I had too much of an ego and I didn't tap, right? So his Kimura's, yeah, it happened. He has his golden path and he's trying to filter the game into that golden path, right? So we're going to see if he's successful today. All right. Thanks, guys. Let's get this going. Okay. Shake hands. Okay, match is started. We're starting with our regular tie-ups. Cameron likes to go for that collar tie-up, but he's really trying to set up his double. That's a really strong move from Cameron. He wasn't really a wrestler going in, but he's got a really surprising snappy double leg. Jad is being active as I expected him to be. Jad's judo is really effective the more his opponent moves his feet, so Jad's going to try to keep him moving pretty much the whole time. We're in a single leg scenario. It seems like this might be an advantage for Cameron, but Jad is very deadly in this position. As we can see, we're flowing for the top position now. Jad maintains control, keeping the body lock, which separates Cameron's lower body from his upper body. That's a huge advantage for Jad because Cameron can't necessarily recover his guard very quickly. However, Cameron is looking for the Kimura. He wants his golden path, and a body lock scenario gives a lot of scenarios for a Kimura. As you see, Jad has Cameron's back. However, Cameron has the opportunity for his Sakuraba Kimura, which is something he caught me with, and I'm not proud of at all. Jad's using his top hook instead of his bottom hook to maintain because he's trying to turn on top, which he just did. He didn't necessarily win the alpha scramble here, so we ended up in Cameron's half guard, which gives Cameron another opportunity to go for his Kimura. Jad is going to keep his knee over his elbow to make sure that Cameron can't complete the circuit. This is a great sweep scenario for Cameron that he does really effectively against most people. People don't see it coming very often. It's a submission threat and a sweep threat. As you can see, the match pretty much just started, and we're like 4 Kimura attempts deep. So we can kind of see what I'm talking about when I say Cameron's golden path. Jad's doing a great job of maintaining control and being conservative. He takes a risk there, and it pays off. He ends up on the back. Cameron is still fishing for the Kimuras here, and it's working out in his favor. It's forcing Jad to leave positions. They're back to their feet. Here we go. They're going to catch their breath for a moment. They're going to smile and laugh because that's how we roll here. They're hand fighting. They don't want to commit too much. Cameron is aware that he can't move too much with Jad because it's going to off-balance him. Jad's also aware that going for a lot of traditional wrestling, body locks, single legs, double legs, is extremely risky against a guy who has a Kimura game. So we're in a bit of a stalemate here, but when the action kicks off, it usually kicks off pretty heavy. Collar tie battle, we're still playing. This is a good opportunity to catch your breath. He goes for the single and it's effective. However, Cameron is fishing for that Kimura. Jad is choosing to body lock as quickly as he can to make sure that Cameron can't snap that Kimura into place. However, as you can see, the Sakuraba is locked up. If Jad's grip is not maintained, Cameron will win this fight right here. Jad has to be very smart about the way he maintains this grip, and he has to use his hips and his leg positioning to find a way out of this position. This is a situation that Cameron ends up in a lot, and he's literally the best in the gym, the best I've ever seen. I'll say the best in the world. Why not? As you can see, Jad's thumb is moving farther and farther away from Cameron's stomach. The farther it gets away from Cameron's stomach, the easier it's going to be for Cameron to finish this situation. He's not worried about his back being taken. He's not worried about Jad finishing the position. He's not worried about him winning the scramble. He only wants the Kimura. He's almost got it. Jad effectively escapes the Kimura entanglement and continues to attack the back. He's not body locking this time. He's taking a big risk, as Jad usually does, and usually it pays off, which it has. He's in a beautiful crucifix position. He's maintaining control. However, he hasn't quite turned Cameron's hips over. So Cameron is able to escape and end up on top position where he's going to try to pass the butterfly guard. Cameron has a little bit of a secret technique here. When people are going for Kimuras and arm bars on him, he has a few techniques to turn the tables. So it's very risky to attack Cameron, especially in his arms, when he's doing body locks and when he's passing the guard. Jad has to be very smart with his movements and attack the feet, which he's doing right now. He's going for an old school. Modified old school. He's using a little bit of his athleticism and his dynamic hit position to maintain control. The body lock is almost put on, and Cameron is once again going for his Kimura, which has been almost 80% of the way, almost 100% effective. Jad turns the position, which is really smart because Cameron can't really play his game when Jad is in this position. Jad can pass the guard here relatively comfortably as long as he is patient, and there he goes, passes the guard. Maintains control of the head. He's looking for the back. I don't necessarily think Jad is trying to put Cameron on his back or trying to take his back. He's just trying to maintain an uncomfortable position and look for an opportunity to score here. These matches are not scored. They are just rolls. They are just for educational purposes for the people training and the people watching. Cameron is framing on the body and framing on the head, trying to find an angle to force a get up. A lot of times when Cameron threatens the escape or the stand-up, people will chase him and give him that Kimura. So I think that's what he's hoping that Jad is going to do here. Jad's very, very intelligent in this position and very, very patient. However, he is an athletic, dynamic jiu-jitsu practitioner, so it is possible that he could take the bait. Jad's back in his 100% position here. Statistically, Jad is going to pass in this position as long as he is patient. Drives the knee to the ground, decides to go for like a half mount or quarter guard position. There's a multitude of ways he can pass. A lot of people would do an Arona pass in this position. That's not the smartest move against Cameron. He's very, very good at turning that over. That was not an Arona counter, but it was an absolutely beautiful sweep from Cameron. Cameron right now is holding on to the wrist, sticking his arm out. It seems like a nice piece of candy to grab onto if you're a Kimura guy. However, Cameron is a very, very dangerous person to Kimura. He's extremely good at maintaining arm control. He's very, very good at countering that move. They're staying patient here. Jad is keeping Cameron's arm off of his head, which is very, very smart. Cameron is kind of shadowing his elbow with his knee to keep him from being able to close his arm. The higher your arm is from your torso, the more energy it takes to move it around. Jad hits him with a beautiful sweep. Cameron is not necessarily usually worried about getting swept or pointed on or anything like that. He's usually just looking for that Kimura attempt, as we can see right now, grabbing the wrist, pushing it up. Jad, again, is using his tactic that's worked maybe 3 times in this scenario. He maintains control of the body and gets his pass. He's being subtle with his arms here. He's not being super, super aggressive with the body locks or anything like that. He's got a seatbelt grip, which is going to be harder for Cameron to utilize in like a Kimura fashion. And it's also going to give Jad the opportunity for a back take and an immediate rear naked choke. Beautiful technique. Cameron needs to start turning his shoulders onto the ground and looking at the sky. Jad makes a smart choice there, decides to win the scramble scenario instead of going for the submission and turning into a mount position. This is a technical mount because he's on Cameron's side, so he's able to kind of keep Cameron in that scramble scenario and force him to make the decision. Cameron decides to go to his knees, which allows Jad to go back to his back, but it also gives Cameron 2 more opportunities for Kimuras, and here we go. He's got one pretty locked in. I don't think Jad has his hands locked, but I am going to look for it at a different angle. Jad opted to threaten time. Beautiful, beautiful match, you guys.